The psychology of people who overthink everything. Overthinking is not intelligence. It is fear dressed up as logic. Most people who overthink believe they are being careful. They think they are analyzing. They think they are preventing mistakes. That something else is happening. And it started long before they realized it. Here's the part most people never question. Overthinking is usually learned in environments where mistakes were not safe. Think about a kid in middle school who gets laughed at for answering wrong. Or a teenager whose parents correct every small decision. Or a college student who gets criticized for choosing the wrong major. The brain adapts. It decides one thing. Next time, think more. Then think again. Then think one more time. Because thinking feels safer than acting. In American culture, we reward caution. We say, think before you speak. We say, plan ahead. We say, don't rush it. Those are useful lessons. But when the lesson becomes extreme, the brain starts scanning for danger everywhere. A text message with a short reply. A boss who says, we need to talk. A date who seems slightly distracted. To most people, these are neutral events. To an overthinker, they are threats. The brain goes into simulation mode. It starts running possible outcomes. What if I said something wrong? What if they are upset? What if I'm about to get fired? This is not just imagination. It is the nervous system trying to protect identity. Because deep down, overthinking is about control. If I can predict it, I can survive it. But here's what most people don't realize. The more you simulate negative outcomes, the more real they feel. The brain does not fully separate imagined danger from real danger. Heart rate increases. Muscles tense. Sleep becomes lighter. Now you are living inside a scenario that never happened. This is where things change. Overthinking stops being preparation. It becomes self-conditioning. Every time you replay a mistake from high school, every time you analyze that awkward moment at work, you strengthen the pathway. The brain learns, this is important, save this. And now it becomes automatic. You walk into a meeting. Your mind is already 10 steps ahead. You go on a first date. You rehearse responses instead of listening. You lie in bed at night. Your mind reviews the day like a courtroom. But here's the hidden truth. Overthinking is not about the present moment. It is about protecting a fragile self-image formed years ago. And that image feels like it must not crack. Not in front of friends. Not at work. Not in relationships. So the mind keeps scanning, keeps correcting, keeps rehearsing, because it believes thinking equals safety. But safety from what? That answer is deeper than most people want to go. Portion 2. Overthinking does not just protect you from mistakes. It protects you from judgment. And judgment is one of the strongest social threats in American life. From a young age, comparison is constant. Grades, sports, popularity, college admissions, career success. Social media makes it worse. You scroll through Instagram. Someone your age bought a house. Someone launched a startup. Someone got engaged. Your brain starts measuring. Am I behind? Did I choose wrong? Should I have done more? Overthinking becomes a strategy to avoid falling behind again. You analyze every decision. Should I change jobs? Should I text first? Should I move to another city? Each choice feels like it could define your future. Because in a competitive culture, identity feels conditional. You are valued for performance, for success, for image. So the mind tries to outsmart uncertainty. But here's what no one talks about. Overthinking creates paralysis. You spend hours researching, comparing apartments, comparing careers, comparing partners. But you rarely feel relief, because the goal was never clarity. The goal was certainty, and certainty does not exist. This is where overthinking become guarded, less spontaneous, more cautious. Your partner feels it. Your friends feel it. Your coworkers feel it. They sense hesitation. They sense tension. And sometimes they pull back. Now your original fear looks confirmed. See, I knew something was wrong. But here's the part no one wants to admit. The overthinking helped create the outcome. Not because you are broken, but because the mind influenced behavior, and behavior influenced response. In the workplace, it shows up differently. You spend too long perfecting emails. You hesitate to pitch ideas in meetings. You rewrite messages 5 times. By the time you act, the opportunity is gone. Then you criticize yourself. You say you should have moved faster. The cycle tightens. More thinking, less doing. This is where things deepen. Overthinking starts shaping identity. You begin to see yourself as anxious, as indecisive, as someone who struggles. And once identity forms, the brain protects it. It filters information to match it. You remember the times you hesitated. You forget the times you acted confidently. The pattern strengthens. But here's what most people miss. Overthinking feels productive. It feels like effort. So you mistake mental activity for progress. Yet nothing in your external world changes. That gap creates frustration. And frustration feeds more thinking. This is not random. It is a closed loop. And breaking it requires something uncomfortable. Action without full certainty. Portion 3. At its core, overthinking is about trust. Not trust in others. Trust in yourself. When you do not trust your own instincts, you outsource safety to analysis. You double-check feelings. You triple-check decisions. You look for signs. You ask friends for reassurance. You Google symptoms. You replay conversations. But here's what happens underneath. Each time you override your first instinct, you weaken it. The brain learns, my initial response is not enough. So next time, it hesitates sooner. This is how intuition erodes. And when intuition weakens, anxiety grows. Because now you truly feel lost. In dating, this becomes exhausting. You analyze text timing. You study emojis. You interpret silence. You try to decode hidden meaning. But here's what most people don't realize. Constant mental decoding blocks emotional presence. You are never fully there. You are managing outcomes. This creates distance. And distance creates confusion. In friendships, it shows up as second guessing. Did I talk too much? Did they seem annoyed? Should I have worded that differently? Hours later, you are still reviewing, but no one else is thinking about it. This is where the illusion becomes clear. Overthinking centers you in a spotlight that does not exist. Most people are focused on themselves, their own insecurities, their own fears, their own plans. But the overthinker assumes scrutiny. Why? Because early experiences created hyper-awareness. Maybe you were the kid who had to read the room. Maybe conflict at home made you cautious. Maybe approval was inconsistent. So you learned to scan microsignals. That skill once helped you survive. Now it traps you. Here's the part no one says directly. Overthinking can become an identity you protect. If I'm the thoughtful one, if I'm the careful one, if I'm the deep thinker, then maybe I avoid being reckless. But depth without action turns into isolation. You stay in your head. You detach from experience. Life becomes something you analyze instead of live. This is where things shift. The opposite of overthinking is not impulsiveness. It is tolerance. Tolerance for uncertainty. Tolerance for small mistakes. Tolerance for being misunderstood. That is what most overthinkers avoid, because mistakes once felt costly. But here's the hidden truth. Confidence is not built through perfect analysis. It is built through surviving imperfect action. You send the message. You apply for the job. You speak in the meeting. You accept that discomfort will follow. And then you notice something. The world does not collapse. People move on. Moments pass. And your nervous system slowly recalibrates. Overthinking loses power when experience contradicts fear, not when logic does. So the real question is not why you overthink. You now understand that. The real question is this: what would your life look like if you stopped trying to mentally rehearse it first and just